I sleep in England, but I spend most of my working life in Wales. Hey! It's been so long since I've been in front of the camera. I'm like, don't even know how to act. This feels really weird. I literally haven't uploaded on YouTube since like the summer, which is like over 4 months ago now. So I thought I would film like a little life update for you guys, because some of you may be wondering like where I've been, what I've been up to, why I haven't been posting, and there is a valid reason. I feel like the last time I filmed anything was just after I returned from Thailand, or probably like during that summer. So for the rest of the summer I just sort of like had fun. I went on a few different trips with like family and friends. I actually got away quite a lot, which was lovely. Me and my best friend also went to Switzerland and France and like that sort of area of Europe. So it was actually a really lovely summer. Then in September I went back to working as a chef in the pub, which I know is actually such a random job. Like, I sometimes forget that I spent so long doing that, and I never even talk about it, so some of you probably never even heard that. But yeah, I was working as a chef in a pub whilst doing all my dancing and studying to be a dance teacher. It left me not much time. As you guys know, it's always been like a really big dream of mine to become a dance teacher, but I think going into my second full year of teacher training, whilst also continuing like with my own dancing, it made me realise how much I still want to dance, like just for me. And I don't know, it just made me realise that I wasn't really ready to like give up on my own pursuit of dance and just teach yet. I feel like I have always wanted to be like a professional dancer. I mean, I started off like wanting to be a ballerina, but I never ever believed that I could, like even from a really young age. So it literally wasn't until like end of September, October time that like I finally admitted to my dad that I would actually want to give a professional career a try, and that felt so scary, but he was just like, okay, sounds great. In early September, I auditioned for the Nutcracker with a professional ballet company and got in as part of the student corps de ballet. And just like that audition experience, and then like all the rehearsals and the training, like, sorry, I'm trying to open a new mascara. Going into that professional environment and all the rehearsals and the training, it did really boost my confidence, because I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. After deciding that I would maybe like to try and do some dancing professionally, that's when I sort of had to start considering what my options were, because I felt like I kind of missed the boat a bit with going to a vocational school. So I'm already 19, and in the world of dance, a lot of people go into a full-time vocational dance training school at age 16, and then a few people continue their training at like degree level when they get to 18. But for a lot of people, like their training finishes when they're 18 and then they go straight into the professional world. So I was already feeling like I'm behind by like a long shot, like by years. So the way that ballet companies work is there's different rankings within the company. You've got like the highest up dancers of the company, which are like the principal dancers, and there are different rankings down to the corps de ballet, which is like the big chunk of ballet dancers. Then below that level, some companies have like their own special ranking, which is known as sometimes like a junior company, a second company, or sometimes the dancers are called apprentices or pre-professionals. And that is where I come in. So I started looking into the different pre-professional programs that are going on in the UK. Basically, I found like my dream company. So I just sent them a little email to find out when the auditions and stuff open for the 2025-26 like season, so starting in September 2025. So I just sent them a little email with like my CV and my show reel, and I got a response back saying that if I wanted to, there was still space for me on the programme for this year if I'd be willing to come in for an audition. I was so nervous because like obviously this audition, like the whole trajectory of my life sort of like depended on it. Well, that's what it felt like anyway. So I've literally never been so nervous, but I spoke to my dance teacher and she was like, you've just got to go for it, like this is the most amazing opportunity, and even if you don't get it, then I'm sure they'll let you re-audition for the year that you're originally intending to go. So I went in and basically did like a private day-long audition. So I just spent the day dancing with the company as if I was a company member, which was a really nice way of doing it because you get like a very realistic view of what it's going to be like. But it also meant that I was literally dancing from 8:30 when the day started right through to 4:30 before I found out whether or not I got it. So yeah, it wasn't until the like course director sat me down at like 5 p.m. and said like, I'd love to offer you a place, that I knew. He was like, you can start as soon as you want, and I was like, that's great, I will be seeing you on Monday. And then I had like the most hectic week of my life because I basically had to rearrange everything. Like I was working 20 hours a week in the pub, I was still enrolled in my like dance teaching college. So since the start of November, that is what I've been doing. I have been dancing, I think it's something like 42 hours a week, doing mostly ballet and contemporary, but I am continuing with like modern and jazz alongside it where I can. It's so much fun. It's like opened my eyes to a lot. Yeah, I am genuinely loving it so much. The other dancers are so lovely and they made me feel so welcome, even though I showed up like a couple of months late. Most of the dancers stay with this company for 1 year and then audition for professional roles in different companies, but I am considering doing another year. Obviously started late and I am like technically quite far behind a lot of the other girls because I haven't had those years of full-time training that they've had. So I do think that like the more training I can get in, the better. I'm still not 100% sure if I do want to go down like the classical ballet route. There are a lot of expectations that I'm not sure that I'd ever be able to meet, but I am trying to just reassure myself that like there's loads of different ways to have a career in dance. I do think that in some ways it has kind of increased my self-doubt a little bit, just because like I'm constantly surrounded by so many amazing dancers all day, every day. It's kind of like my whole life, like I'm fully immersed in it, which is amazing, but it also means that there's a lot of time for like comparison and just getting in your own head. It has been quite nice over the past few days having a little break. I finished my performances of the Nutcracker on the 23rd of December, just in time for Christmas, and that was so much fun. But I think I went straight from finishing my term with the ballet company and then straight into the Nutcracker production week. I was feeling quite ready just for a break, not necessarily from the dancing, like I do really miss the dancing, just like from being so fully immersed in that world. Like it's just been really nice this week to get back and like surround myself with my friends and just like people who don't dance. It definitely helps you put things back into perspective and realise that yeah, dancing is a really big part of your life, but it isn't your whole life. Like that's not all you are and that's not all that you have to offer the world. I asked you guys the other day to ask me any specific questions that you had for me because it's been so long since we've spoken, and I got a variety of questions actually. Some of them that I was expecting, some of them I was like, oh, that's a rogue one, maybe I'll answer that. First one is, are you a professional dancer? It's a funny question because like I never really know when you can start considering yourself to be a professional dancer. I do have some paid professional dance work coming up in 2025, which I'm really excited about, but sometimes I think, does that make me a professional dancer? I would say no, I'm not yet. I'm still in full-time training, but I'm hopefully on the way to becoming one. How is your BPD recovery going? I feel like I never speak about this anymore because it's just not a part of my life that I ever even think about anymore. I'm very lucky that my issues were recognised for what they were at such a young age, and that I had access to all of the help and support that I did to properly recover and sort of rewire my brain. I feel like a totally different person to who I was when I was struggling. It's not something that dictates my life in the slightest, which is kind of crazy because it used to affect me every single waking and sleeping minute of every single day, and I didn't think that I was anything without it. I couldn't imagine myself having a personality or just having a life that wasn't dictated to by like mental illness. So if that's something you're currently struggling with, then there is hope that you can live a normal life, I promise. I got a few questions about if I have a partner or if I'm in a relationship or anything like that, and no, I'm not. I'm still happily single. I've actually been single for pretty much all of 2024, and it has without a doubt been the best year of my life. And so I don't have any intentions to like actively date or seek out a partner, because I'm loving being on my own and giving my time and energy to friends and family and my career. I also got a few questions about how my recovery and like eating and stuff like that is going. It's going pretty well. I would definitely say that I'm fully recovered from my eating disorder and have been for a while now, and I'm very glad that I am. Otherwise I do not think I would be coping with my life as it is now, just being in the ballet world and like the pressures that surround it in terms of like eating and exercise and like body image and things like that. It is still sometimes difficult in terms of those things, but only in terms of like ballet related issues. So as soon as I step away from that and I just become like normal Millie, then it's fine again. I think there's just like always that expectation to be that little bit slimmer. I think that I now have that level of like self-awareness because of my own past experiences. So in some ways I am grateful for the years that I spent being ill, because it now means that I have so much more self-awareness when it comes to disordered eating and thinking, that I can never let myself get back into that state, because I can recognise the signs straight away and just like immediately like block it out. But unfortunately disordered habits are so common in the dancing world that I do sometimes feel like I'm spending a lot of time surrounded by it, which more than anything just makes me feel sad. It just makes me want to like help people and just like give them a big hug and be like, you don't need to be doing this, but I obviously don't, because that's their journey and they've got to figure it out for themselves. Ooh, I got asked my future plans. They gave me a couple of examples, which is helpful because otherwise I'd just start waffling, but with like moving out, my dream job, pets, kids. So I don't really know if I can think that far ahead to like pets and kids, but I probably want them at some point in the future. I think that my dream job, long term, would still 100% being a dance teacher, having my own studio. But in the short, well, not short term, but in like the more immediate future, while I'm still young and I've got my flexibility, then I would really love to do some professional dance work. I've been thinking a lot recently about what sort of like route I want to go down with my dancing, because obviously there's so many different ways to take it, and I think my absolute dream would be to get a cruise contract and dance on a cruise ship, which is actually a really big thing in the dance world. I know it sounds really like niche, but it is actually a big thing, and I just think it'd be perfect because you get to travel and see the world and dance every day, and yeah, I just think it would be so fun. But I do know that they're highly competitive. I would maybe need to reconsider how I'm spending my time training, because obviously I'm doing a lot of ballet and contemporary, and those aren't really the styles that are danced on cruise ships. So it's all whirring away in here. I'm trying to figure it out. In terms of moving out, It's not something I can see myself doing anytime soon. I'll probably be here as long as my parents are happy to keep me, just because money-wise, I'm obviously studying full-time at the moment. I do a little bit of teaching work on the side, but that like just about covers my fuel costs. So I don't think I'd be able to move out anytime soon, which is a shame, but I do love being at home and being with my family. I think I'd get really lonely if I like moved out to live on my own. I got asked, what is something you're still currently struggling with? I feel like people are really like digging, like they really want to know. I feel like the main thing that I still struggle with is trying to be a non-disordered person in such a disordered world, if that makes sense. Just like trying so hard not to give in to the pressures to like revert to disordered habits. I also am really struggling with just feeling like I'm not good enough and like I'm not going to make it. That's the main thing that creeps in. It's usually after I've had a couple of days off. Like it's fine when like I'm just dancing every single day because I don't have time to think about it, but it's like if I have the weekend off or like the past few days obviously haven't been dancing or anything, it just sinks in that like I don't know, I just get these thoughts that I'm like actually really bad and that I'm not going to make it. Just like, you know, all those negative thoughts. I think that's the main thing. It's like self-doubt. So I'm definitely gonna try and do some work on that, because I know that that's actually just a mindset thing. Like that's not something that involves any physical change, well, no more than I'm currently doing with like the amount of training that I'm doing. Like it is just a mental like mindset thing that I need to work on. I also got asked a few questions about like if I'm working, if I'm teaching, what ballet company I'm at, things like that. So I'm still teaching like a couple of hours a week. I do like one evening and a Saturday morning, and that's for like other dance teachers. They're my own classes, but like 4 different dance schools, and I love it so much. It's really good fun. I'm not currently continuing with my teacher training though. I've had to put that on hold because I just don't have the time. I'm thinking maybe over the summer I'll be able to like cram it, because I do still want those like professional qualifications, even though you don't need them to be able to teach. I'd just still like them just for me. I'm dancing for the National Ballet Company of Wales, which is also known as Ballet Cymru, but as I just said, I'm still living at home. So every day I commute from England to Wales. So it is a bit of a faff, but because it's a drive that I am able to do, I don't think that I could justify moving to myself or that I really need to move. The company that I was doing the Nutcracker with as well is another Welsh company. So it definitely feels like something is just drawing me to that part of the world. I don't know, it just seems to be like coincidence that I'm spending so much time there, but I love it. Wales is probably my favourite country. I think I prefer it to England even, so I'm not complaining. It's great that I get to spend so much time there. Ooh, do I have any future travel destinations? I really, really, really want to go back to Thailand. Me and my friends who I went with last summer keep talking about it, and I do really want to go. I'm just like, there's all like the boring logistical things that you have to think about of like, can I take that much time off dancing? Can I afford it? So maybe I'll go back, but it might not be for a couple of years, unfortunately. What brand of pointe shoes do you wear? I wear Vertice pointe shoes, which is a Russian brand. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but hang on, let me show you. That's the little logo. Ah, that's actually better. There you go. And I love them so much. So they're a Russian-American brand, and I import them from the United States, which is very expensive, but like I don't like any other shoe that I've tried. Like, these are my favourite ones, so when I order them I just get them in bulk and it works out okay. But I would highly recommend trying them if you've got strong feet. I've got really high arches and they're like super strong, so they'll just destroy any English pointe shoes. What age did you start ballet training and when did you decide to go professional? I've been dancing since I was like 3. I didn't really decide to go professional until like this year. So I don't think I decided until age 19, which is a little bit late to the party. I would say most people probably decide around like 13, 14. that I wasn't there yet. I had my own issues to work through at that age. Yeah, it's definitely not too late to decide that you want to become a professional dancer. I think that's the biggest lie that we're told, that you have to decide at age 13 and be in full-time training by 16. Like, it's just not the case. You can decide at any age, and you can switch careers at any age, so yeah, it's not too late. I think that's all the questions. I think I'm going to wrap this up because I am going to visit my grandparents for Christmas part 2 in literally 15 minutes, so I should probably help my mum with the packing. It was so lovely to be back in front of the camera and like chatting to you guys and having a little catch up. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, I will maybe put that on the screen if I can figure it out, and if not, then it will be in the description, because I am more active on there. But I am going to try, I promise, I'm going to get back on it with the YouTube, because I do really miss it. I'm hoping that I'm going to get more confident with like filming a bit more of my dancing. I also dance with a ballet company in Bristol who are considering taking me on as a paid professional. Everyone manifest it, please. And I was thinking about asking the director about me starting to film a bit more of like the behind the scenes of that, because it's quite a small friendly company, so I feel like that's where I'd be most comfortable starting doing like my vlogging, you know. Hopefully there'll be a lot more dancey content. But if you have any video suggestions or anything that you'd like to see from me in 2025, then please put in the comments. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas and you have a very restful holidays if you're still on them, and a great start to 2025. I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye!